Hello divas! Yep, it's time for a second coat on some of our crafty things. It is another Crafty Thursday with Wanda from Wanda's Workbasket, and I invite you along on my preparations for a craft fair. Unfortunately, the one in July I was going to do is, it's still on, but I will be in Arizona helping my father-in-law with my husband and my brother-in-law. So, anyway, that's good news because, I'll tell you, I get to take you with me to Arizona. My mother-in-law had an art room, and I can use that and go through things there, and you can come along for the ride. Wouldn't it be fun? Won't it be fun? I'm going to be there from July 2nd to the 21st, and hopefully I'll be able to record and upload during that time, depending on how fast my father-in-law's internet is. So, while these things are going to, I'm going to finish them and put them aside for a craft fair in the fall, and I'm looking for more than one, and to put on my Etsy shop. I'll take you along on this journey, but I'll also take you to Arizona with me soon. So, that being said, we can get started on the painting, second coat painting of some of these and sanding of the others. There will be times in the video where I will speed up my process because you don't want to see me. You don't need to see the long version while I'm not talking. Yeah, you don't need to see that. So, one thing I do recommend is not to leave your little paint dishes out in front of an air conditioner in the middle of summer if you want to keep the goop in the bottom left over, because they will harden and dry. And yes, I should have known that to begin with, but for some reason I didn't heed it. So anyway, first start, we're going to use the white paint, not the Jewel-It. We're going to use the white paint. On many things, just this one, okay. Just this one. And may or may not be enough. When I do paint, I go from the lightest to the darkest. That way, as I'm swishing in the water, I'll move that out of the way. As I'm swishing in the water, it doesn't affect like the next paint color. So, I do have a question now. These are the sticks for the back of the frames that I painted white to hold them up, you know, to brace them up. Should I paint these white as well? I mean, they won't be seen. They won't be seen with the picture. But, you know. Alright. Yeah, I can do both sides with this. Right. Very carefully around the top. I went around the sides the other day. Maybe I can do that again, but and the other idea I should have done was taken the fake picture thing out of the center. That probably would have been a good thing to do too. Yeah. I was also thinking about making journal charms to sell. What do you think? Journal charms. They're the charms that you hook onto your journal or another book for a bookmark or something like that. Boy, these need to be sanded. They're really rough. Do I get paint on the antlers here? Antenna. Antlers. They're not deer, sweetheart. Okay. Again, I really like to do that. I got to get the dark blue and fix that then. I want them to be perfect if I'm trying to sell them, right? And I'll take you through the next step after sanding as well, because I need to get to that step in order to make major progress. Okay, that's one white done. All right. Did you ever notice the different kinds of butterflies in your area? We have fields and woods on our property, and I like to go out and watch the butterflies sometimes. I like to see what they're at. We used to have a farmer that used to come make feed corn, like grow feed corn in our back field. And, oh geez. I'm such a klutz. And when the years that he did that, there were always these wonderful butterflies that would be flying in and out of, whether it was the soybeans or the corn, the feed corn, and that kind of thing. It was so nice to see the variety. Yeah, I'm just going to touch up too. I'm going to this. And the base probably down. But there. Your brush marks. The white stick standing. It's already white. It's going to be background anyway. It's going to be the difference. That's what I was good job. So, I'm not sure what I need. Well, of course I do. Right. So the big is going to be gray, and then just dark green. Or dark green gray. So we can paint this in light color. Yeah, so white. Alright. Always should green first, because there's a mixer of colors in it that separates out. That separates out as you go. Okay, see? Right, everything down. Okay. And that's how you get all over your things. Yeah, that's good. See what I'm doing? I'm sorry. You're doing too much. Not intentional. I just not perfect. Perfect. Anything. So, there we go. Now, this is going to be the basis. We're going to do the light color. Oh, yes. Use the mermaid tails. Let's camera green. Yeah, cheers. Touch up the stems. So, so yeah, touch the mic. Sorry. Always shake up your paint first, because there's a mixer, color mixer in it that separates out. Love my tea. That separates out as you go. Right, I'll use the same one. It was really the same one. It dried that quickly? Holy cow. Okay. All your sorry. Now, this is the basis. There's the color. Oh, yes. Use the right tails. But, here's everything. Yeah, cheers. Touch up. Stems still. Sorry. Now, touch sorry. It's like, oh, flesh. It's like, see? Sorry. I think I know cooking. What's wrong with it? And I like the brush that I can is. You can touch that one, so. Maybe I can just wait. Yes. Stop now. Use the brush in. Brush first. Brush first because it's a little bit extra over. And so I don't want that to get messy. So you can take away too at Jason's surface if we get the packs with the Now, what did I say I was going to do next? The bases. If I do the light color, oh, yes. I use this for mermaid tails. Another tip when you're going to be in a delicate area, you just pick up paint off your brush, and I brush it somewhere else first. I brush it on elsewhere in the big field first, because there's often extra paint that kind of like dribbles over. And I don't want that to get the other color messy. So you know, take a swipe or two at an adjacent surface before you get into the cracks. Now I'll do the bright red hair on these little mermaidens. To mix the other color to do the bottom. Should I try to mix the other color first? I think maybe I should, because I've already got the green started in here. So what I did was I used the new Shamrock Green. I used the Pool Blue. These are both apple barrel colors. And I used a dab of white, and that's a Craft Smart white. Here we go. A dab of Craft Smart white. These acrylic paints will go with each other very well. I'm going to mix it up with the brush. I could use the end of my brush, but I'll get it all over my hands before I have to go out this afternoon and meet someone, so I don't want my hands all painty. This washes off real well though with soap and water, so with acrylic paints you don't have to worry so much that you get it all over your hands. I just have to use a lot of hand cream, because it does dry out your hands rather quickly. Am I getting it anywhere near that color, first color? I think there's a lot of blue in there. I'm going to probably need some more green, but it's not all mixed, obviously. I want to take a course sometime on color mixing. It's pretty light, isn't it? Color mixing. Because I'm not sure how to match. There's this one guy on YouTube, and I can't remember who it is at the moment. That's not bad. Could be a tinge darker. I'll put a little more though. Let me wait. Here's the dark green from the first go around today. Maybe that'll help. Maybe it won't. A little tad more into it. He is a paint restorer. He restores old paintings that are brought to him, cleans them, and fixes them, restores them, and sometimes he has to touch up the paint colors to match what's already there. And oh my gosh, he's amazing. He has this system, this formula that he made up on his own, like what to add to get it a shade darker in this color family or that color family, and it's just amazing to watch him work. He does have tips on how to change colors and how to match them really easily. Well, I don't know, what do you think? It's a bit darker. It needs to be a bit darker, maybe a little tinge bluer, so I did put a little more blue in there. I'm going to have way too much paint now, of course. That's par for the course, isn't it? I'm going out today to the post office and the bank and do grocery shopping, and I'm going to meet someone for tea at 2. And someone with whom I'm going to share my vision. Now it's really light. Well, I'll just have to put a coat of paint on the other side that matches. And what I did was I took like where I want the bra to be. Oh no, that wood knot is in the wrong place, guys. Oh dear. I'm going to put a shell over it anyway, so yeah, I have to have small shells for each side. I do have some resin molds that, if I can't find the tiny little shells that I want for that area, I'm going to create them out of resin. And resin's a big popular thing right now, making things out of resin. I have a mold that I think will be really neat, that I haven't seen anybody else use before. Granted, it'll use a whole bunch of resin to do it, but I want to try. It'll be very unique, which is always what I look for. Be really fun too. So when I get to that, I'll let you know. I want to do that off camera because if it doesn't work, I don't embarrass myself. No main. Yep, I need more paint than that. This one, by the way, is Artist Loft. That is Michael's generic brand. There's another truck. I need to leave by 11 today, this morning, so I need to leave shortly. And I'm almost to the second step with the others. The first step is to paint it, and remember the painting lifts the hairs. Wood has hairs. Basically, it's not a completely solid material. So it has these microscopic little hairs that come up. And yeah, I don't know, maybe I should do the edges on this too. So the next step after painting is sanding. to get rid of the little hairs. Because then whatever you put on top of it will stick, or it'll just give it a really glassy, smooth finish that you don't have if you don't sand. For some reason, that little spot is not coming out. I don't know where it came from to begin with. Looks like maybe it was ink or something, or it was a blemish in the wood that keeps coming out. Alright, well, that'll get covered over with the beads and stuff that I'm going to put on. Okay. And while those are drying, what I'm going to do, though, is I have some scrap paper. And I'll take one that... What I want to do is take a pencil and go around it so that I can make a pattern and copy a pattern so that I can practice my designs on the paper instead of, you know, finagling it all over the place on the actual piece. Because if I don't like how it looks, I can always erase it and go over it again, or copy another copy. Another thing I could do is, if I do like the design that I've laid out on the paper, I can then pick it off one by one and transfer it, glue it right down to the other, to the form. So, I penciled around there. What I really want to do is go over it in a dark marker, so that when I copy the paper, yeah, it won't be perfect. I can make a number more that it will see the, you ignore that. Perfection is not my gift. However, thinking outside the box is. What gifts do you bring to the table? Everyone is given some gifts. Now, a gift is a gift, but using it and practicing it is called a skill. You can be gifted at something, but you still have to practice in order to get skillful at it. Okay, that's my first template. I will do this with the crosses, with the elephants, with anything that I have a flat surface of, maybe even the piggy for the piggy bank. And I will copy them and I will work on those otherwise. Yeah, okay, so let me do the crosses here. Let me take another piece of scrap paper. And outline one of the crosses. Move this back over here. Ta-da-da-da. Pencil first. Oh my goodness, I need to leave shortly. I have some really cool ideas in my head as to what I'm going to do with these. Some will be pearl, some will be iridescent, some will be gold, some will be silver. Yeah, I only have 6 at the moment, but I'll go back and get some more. I bought a bunch of the shapes I liked, and my daughter drilled a hole in them. I will have to remount. Before I put a string on it. Or monofilament line, that kind of thing. And crystal, I'm going to use the crystals on it too. Yeah. If I get 6 on it, that would be great. And again, I'm going to make 1 sheet, and then when I need more, I'm going to copy that sheet. Instead of doing it all over again, I will then have the pattern. I won't decorate directly on the sheet of paper until I've copied it.